everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having an amazing weekend. And while this video may be going out on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, depending on if you are a Patreon supporter or a YouTube channel member or just a regular watcher of these videos, you may have noticed that it's kind of late in the day when I'm filming it, so the lighting might be a bit poor, but I have lots of things to show you and I want to show them to you. So won't you come with me into the greenhouse? Things have been growing quite a lot since the last time I was here with you, and some of our tomatoes have finally started to ripen. I've already had one of my cherry tomatoes this year. Here's one of the others that's on its way to being fully ripened. We've got some stakes in the ground just to support these tomatoes because they are getting kind of heavy. This one was made by my lovely wife, as was this one and this one and this one. Not this one, obviously, but my wife made these in her shop, and she even made them with nice little pointy bit at the bottom, and she sanded them so I wouldn't get splinters, which I think is very sweet and lovely. They are made using offcuts from these cedar boxes that everything is put in, but as you can see, we've got some lovely tomatoes over there. Those are stew peas tomatoes. I think they're very good for sauces and things. These are cherry tomatoes, obviously for eating. For some reason, my watermelons are not doing well. I do not know why. I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and do some research and try and figure out what's going on. But, you know, my first year growing watermelons, and the first year is never going to be perfect. I'm doing better with my cucumbers. They have taken a really long time to grow. So the time you're watching this is about 1 month since I put them in. But we are getting some flowers coming up. Unfortunately, they're only male flowers at the moment. And as per my mum, you have to nip the male flowers out because otherwise it will turn the cucumbers bitter. That is apparently the way, so I have been following her advice on that one. Certainly for the English style cucumbers. I don't know about the pickling ones, but for the English style cucumbers, which are sweet ones that you're going to eat, that's definitely something that you want to be careful of. Check out these though. These are some of the tomatoes from my friend Bill. They are doing incredibly well. I know Bill watches this channel. So Bill, look at this. They're I think probably the biggest tomatoes in the greenhouse right now. My tomatillos are doing great as well. We've got flowers coming on all of those. And as I say, we do have some flowers on the cucumbers, but not very many. The peppers, again, I don't think they're getting warm enough. I think that's probably what's going on. So I'm going to have to do some thinking next year about how I set this up and how I put things in. It does get kind of warm during the day. It doesn't get too cold at night time. I know we've still got this open gapey thing here. My wife and I will be working on some things to fix that soon. But you know what's doing a lot better? And that is my corn. Check it out. It's kind of getting up to knee height. We haven't got any tassels yet, but it's still a bit early for corn. Couple of months, I think we will have some lovely corn here for the winter. The onions are doing amazingly well. I did have a little look earlier today. They're not kind of large enough to use yet, but they're definitely making some serious progress. My sprouts are the best my sprouts have ever been. I am super excited about this. In the past, I've had chickens eat them. I've had greenfly and blackfly eat them and caterpillars eat them. This year, touch bamboo, this year, they are doing great. So I'm not going to get too excited until I actually see them, but we'll see what happens next. My broccoli, I've got a couple of broccoli that is thinking about, bolting, but the rest of the broccoli is looking incredible. I have had a lot of broccoli. As you can see, a lot of this broccoli has been eaten and it is doing amazingly well. Another thing that we've eaten a large amount of this year so far are these peas. They are amazing and they are lovely. Let me show you. I'll just pop this open. This one's not going to have very many peas in it yet. It's a bit early, but look. If you like your peas small, you can grab them then. If you wait a little bit longer, they'll be full and round and plump and lovely. I opened that one a bit too soon. But you know what? They're not bad. And I like some lovely fresh garden peas. Also, we have got some progress here with our bush beans and our runner beans. So we've got some flowers starting to come on these, as you can see right at the top here, and they have run up the poles amazingly well. Also over here, we have some pole bean or some bush beans. You can see they're actually now growing on the plants. We've gone from flowers to actual producing beans, which is lovely. Over here, we have some updates on the zucchinis. We don't have any female flowers yet, which means we don't have any fruit, but we do have some male flowers, and look at them. Lots and lots of flowers. They are doing amazingly well. The pumpkins, less so. They're just sort of not quite there yet, but they're coming along nicely. The butternut squash, again, taking their time, but that's okay. And I think this is a rogue sunflower that somehow got into the seeds. They do kind of look very similar, but you know what? I've just decided to leave it because it's a sunflower. It's going to look lovely. I guess this is just what happens occasionally. We have a rogue sunflower that pops in with other plants. But look, talking about these pumpkins, we do have a flower coming, and we do have some of those little tassels coming. They'll grab onto things and grow rather nicely. So they are gonna soon get some fruit, and I think I'm gonna have to open this up when the pumpkins start growing so that there is space. Over here, my fava or broad beans are still doing incredibly well. We've got some growing over there. I've had like 2 or 3 meals worth of beans from here, and I just keep coming back. And when you when you live in the country, when you try and live from the fruit and veg from your garden, you end up doing kind of weird pairings of things. Namely that you end up having a few of one thing and a few of another things, and you eat them together. You may not always want to eat them together, but you do, because it's the easiest way of having fresh fruit and vegetables. And I haven't had to buy any vegetables now for 2 whole weeks, which is amazing. I've had some of my raspberries, first raspberries of the season. I've had my first blueberries of the season. And I've had my strawberries, although my strawberries right now, they're having a little bit of a break because they do that. I don't know why they do that, but they do that. They have a little bit of a break now and then. Chickens are doing well. They are getting ready for bed. This has apparently fallen over. Let me fix this. They need that during the daytime so they don't get out. So the chickens are doing great. They are having a lovely time. And then over here, let's kind of punctuate the garden slightly. The fruit and veg, let's punctuate it with these guys. The sunflowers. Look at how amazingly tall they are. There are multiple different types of sunflowers. So this one is just a single head here. But then if I walk over here, some of these are multiple heads. So this one has multiple heads on. And one of the things I really love about my sunflowers is that I can see them on the security camera one of the security cameras that we've got. And you can see the sunflowers throughout the day. If you speed it up, you can watch them as they turn their heads. I have a pea stuck in my tooth, I apologise. As they turn their heads to try and capture the sun. And you can see how tall they are getting. Really amazing. Down here at the front of the house though, check this out. This is my border. It's looking a little bit crazy, but we've got chamomile or chamomile, depending on how you want to pronounce it. We have some sweet peas, we have some California poppies, we've got obviously the pansies and the violas. It's all looking beautiful, and the lavender. It looks cluttered, and some people would look at that and go, cut your garden. But you know what? I think that looks amazing, and I like the colour. And again, here we have my hanging basket looking lovely and verdant. I still have the old greenhouse. The old greenhouse is still doing its thing. But we've also had a lot of potatoes this year. So some potatoes over there, I've eaten them already. And then over here we have the parsnips. Some of the parsnip leaves died off, interestingly, but they're doing great. I had a little feel in here for some potatoes. We had some volunteer potatoes hiding in here. And look, more volunteer potatoes. I feel like we just had a theme here. But the lettuce, we had some of our lettuce for July 4th, and it was very lovely. The rocket's kind of gone to seed, and I'm just letting it go because why not? And let's go over here and look at, you can see how dry the ground is where we haven't watered. You can see how the apples are doing. We now have a thing to put on here, which I'm going to do after I've finished filming, but you can see the size of these apples. We now have a support. We're going to put the support on because it's kind of essential now. Although, to be fair, this branch appears to have firmed up enough that maybe it will be okay. I'm not going to jinx it because that would be bad. But that's my dwarf apple tree and that's doing great. And then over here, this is my non-dwarf apple tree with our Gravenstein, and I'm afraid I can't remember how to pronounce it, and I feel bad about that. One of you commented on it, and I'm sorry. I just hate mispronouncing things, and I know it's something I do a fair amount, and the problem is there are always multiple people who correct me, and I know that a lot of people, you have an emotional connection when it you want it to be right? And I totally understand that. Anyway, I'm going to finish my chicken and garden update by taking you inside because one of the things that I'm going to be doing next is planting some fresh vegetables in the garden. One of our planters is now completely finished for the season. And what I'm going to do in a minute is show you some of the garlic. But first, I want to show you my very good girl. This is my very good girl, Sky. Come here, baby. Sky has literally today just come back from the vets. She has had her spay. And her spay, obviously, so she can't have puppies. And that's the responsible thing to do. But poor little girl is not feeling so happy about it. I've kind of just walked in and surprised my partner. So I'm going to give her the the GoPro to hold because she doesn't like being on camera. But check this out, because I was growing garlic earlier this year. This is one of the 3 elephant garlics that we grew. Isn't it, as we say in my home county of Norfolk, England, huge? My mum would be very proud that I said huge on a video. But this is an elephant garlic, and the individual cloves inside each bulb are like this. So they're kind of basically the same size as an actual regular garlic clove, which is garlic bulb, which is a bit bonkers. But then right here is all of our garlic that we grew this year. So where the garlic was, I just dropped some. No, we're not going to let you eat that, ghost. Where we dropped the garlic, leave. Where we dropped the garlic, where we took the garlic out. I'm going to have to pick this garlic up so a dog doesn't eat it. Thank you, ghost. Where we grew this garlic even, we're going to put our rutabagas and turnips in, otherwise known as Swedes and turnips in Europe, or at least in the UK. So we're going to be putting those in. I'm hoping to do that this weekend. However, I don't know if I've got the seeds anymore because a certain border collie who you saw earlier on with the cone of shame, she likes eating things. She just does. Anyway, that is what we have been doing. That is what's been going on in the garden. Thank you to everybody who has been watching and commenting nice comments about the automated watering video. I will try and do a tutorial at some point on how we did it and how we integrate it with our home. And we've got to try and figure out, I'm starting to feel like Transport Evolved Take 2 needs to start doing more computery stuff as well. So we'll see. Anyway, on that note, we are done with today's video. If you have comments, you can leave them in the Discord chat room. You can leave them in the comments section below. You can reach out to us on Mastodon, or if you are a Patreon supporter, you can do so in the comments there. If you want more, subscribe, hit the bell, and follow the links below to regularly support us with a YouTube membership or a Patreon subscription. That is vegetarian lasagna coming out of the oven, and it looks really good. You'll also find links to our Ko-fi, Bitcoin and Swag store, as well as that aforementioned Mastodon server. Scrolling on my right is the list of amazing charged up supporters, and shout outs go out to our V2G Patreon supporters: Pedro Mora Pinheiro, Alan Tupper, Andrew Martin, Bennett Elder, Brophy Wolf, Chris Maxwell, Cyprian Laplace, Dan Blair, Gordon C, Hey Esker, John Tramal, Kyle Fox, Mark Eggleton, Peter Dillinger, Raging Fellows, Sean Tucker, Stefan Fremgen, Stephen Williams, Tesla in the Gong, Paul Bricknell, Tony Moss, Carl Hodgson, Chris Centaur, Denny Hyde, Lance Schnall, Linda Irish, Mike Weeder and Paul Nelson. And finally, big thanks to our off-grid supporters: Paul Conway, Kevin Burrabridge, Stephen O'Donoghue, Jim Burness, Robert Flannery, Aaron Hahn, Ellery Hensley, Roy Litwin, JP Fagerback, Dave Kitchen, Andrew Glenn, Anonymous Freak, Chris and Michael Johnson, Clay Witt, CPU Freak 101, Eric Knack, Joe Bresney, John Henderson, Laura Reynolds, Marcel Ward, Matthew Drobnak, Nigel S, Reggie Watts, Will Graylin, and of course Ian. I got distracted by this amazing vegetarian lasagna. It's not vegan lasagna because it's got cheese in it, but we used a meat substitute, and it looks really good. Of course, when we do the zucchini and the pumpkin, maybe we can use that in a lasagna. We'll have to think about that. Anyway, don't forget that we make content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday on the main channel a day earlier if you are a Patreon supporter or YouTube channel member. Plus, on a Sunday, you can see us here for our chicken and garden update, which is what you've just seen, despite me being in the kitchen. And also, there is the Sunday Musing, which you should watch, which is coming later in today. The sun is coming through our window, which is about the only time of the year that we get sun through this window because of its location, but it's going to be a lovely evening. I hope whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, it is similarly awesome. And until next time, keep evolving. Thank you.